studio, as always, I have with me my co-host and person of Ifoma Oji. Good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening, Sharon. I'm doing great, as always.
I can tell. Also joining us live in the studio, we have our guest and person of Mr. Ugochukwu Afoba. Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing very well.
There's no to your own introduction.
I'm okay.
All right. Now, today the Nigerian presidency announced that the United States is set to strengthen Nigeria's security efforts through expanded intelligence cooperation and additional defense support. This move is part of ongoing discussions aimed at improving the country's ability to respond to growing security threats, including terrorism, banditry, and targeted attacks on vulnerable communities. Meanwhile, the United States has strongly condemned the recent school abductions in Niger and KEBBI states. U.S. officials are calling for urgent action to rescue the victims and bring those responsible to justice, stressing that attacks on school children are unacceptable and must not go unpunished. Now, these developments highlight both the international concern over Nigeria's security challenges and renewed efforts to deepen cooperation between Abuja and Washington. Very bold proclamation from the Nigerian presidency. Now, Bayo Onanuga came out to make this statement earlier today, saying that the Nigerian presidency is in partnership with the United States, to strengthen Nigeria's security efforts through diplomatic means. Now, it says that they sent their delegates to the United States with a full list of delegates from Nigeria to the United States to explain to them that they have misrepresented information or a half-baked information on exactly what is going on in Nigeria's security issue. It is very interesting because the next story is about the United States strongly condemning the recent abductions that we have seen, and also the fact that they held the U.S. Congress debate and we saw the voting, that majority of the vote was actually in support of military intervention in Nigeria. But let me get your take on what the Nigerian presidency has come out to say, Foma.
That is if it's true. That's number one. Then if it is true, then I think it's a welcome development, trying to tighten or collaborate with the U.S. to fight insecurity in Nigeria is very beautiful. Trying to urge them to send or appeal to them to send some of their equipment is beautiful, and then humanitarian efforts too is beautiful to see. But there's this thing with Nigeria, we don't know if there's going to be follow through. That's the question we keep asking, because we've seen a lot of this in the news, and after months, after years, we are still asking, where is the accountability? What is the follow through? Where is the sustainability? So those are the things that are still vague, and those are the things that I believe the public would want to know about. And then I thought Nigeria is equally a sovereign state. Why going to sending delegations or delegates to US to go and see if they can collaborate with US? I thought they could fight the terrorism in Nigeria. It's for you to see that at least they are agreeing to an extent that there is Christian genocide. Let me put it that way, not terrorism. There is Christian genocide in Nigeria. And then moving forward, I think Nigeria equally needs to strengthen its security apparatus internally, locally, because you could see that these terrorists, these bandits, they have sophisticated machines. So you ask, where are they acquiring, where are they getting all these machineries from? So I think Nigeria needs to, both the military, both the security, operative security institution, need to strengthen their own machineries locally before seeking foreign intervention or foreign
Still talking about the Nigerian presidency response earlier today, or statement earlier today, saying with all that he said about possible diplomatic relationship with the United States, but just to recall, Mr. Ugochukwu, we heard from Senator Riley Moore saying, having the talks about the fact that the Nigerian government, might be sanctioned. Even when we saw on radio what Mr. President, as the President of the United States, Donald Trump said, saying that it is a disgrace what is happening in Nigeria, and that he is so mad about the killings of Christians in Nigeria, And also the Congress that he held was about, even the United States President Donald Trump was talking about the fact that they give Nigeria a lot in terms of support financially as well, and they're looking towards removing that support and sanctioning Nigeria. But from the tone we're getting from the Nigerian presidency, it seems all is well on both fronts of the relationship with the United States and Nigeria. Do you think that is expressing the actual state of things?
No, I don't think so. And I have to say that I agree completely with what Ifeoma said. Heaven, they say, help those who help themselves. So before we go out to seek intervention from the international community, first of all, we have to make the little efforts we can. That is one thing. Then, about the threats by the US on sanctioning Nigeria and stopping all aid to Nigeria, I think that will equally affect Nigeria, even though Nigeria already is going a security crisis presently. Adding more to it by sanctioning Nigeria will also cause more harm to Nigerians, because you know that Nigeria has heavily depended on international bodies for things that they can even get themselves. And now, even though this is necessary, let's assume that the US, for an instance, is trying to bully Nigeria. Apart from the fact that now Nigeria needs help, particularly maybe from the United States, let's assume that this is a different case scenario, and the United States wants to bully Nigeria, and they are warning them about sanctioning them and cutting all aid. Don't you think this will make Nigeria as a country, panic and cave into the demands of the United States? It shows how dependent we are on aids from the international community, despite the fact that we always call ourselves the giant of Africa. We have all these resources, and yet you're not making very good use of it. So I know, I don't just think, but I know that the reason why the president, I think I saw that there was some delegates from Nigeria who went to the US to discuss also with the United States government the state of affairs in the Nigerian, the state of our security affairs and everything. So I think that is the president trying to be, in as much as they're also trying to, deny the whole Christian genocide, they still do not want to be on the bad side of the United States, and that is the reason why they are still making moves to be on their good side.
We were talking about what Bayo Onanuga came out to say earlier today, and my question still remains. If you read the news report, right, the tone of voice from Bayo Onanuga, like a lot of Nigerians would agree with me, is that all is settled between the United States and Nigeria as to the manner in which they are to approach the situation. Now, we're having different tones here. From the United States, with the senators and people there, they're saying that they have a rather different tone of voice. They're angry about what is going on. They're still calling it a Christian genocide. But when you read what Bayo Onanuga said earlier today, he's saying that the delegates sent to the United States went there to explain or elaborate the intricacies of the security issues that we have over here in Nigeria, saying it's not targeted at a particular group, not whether Christian or not, and is born out of poverty and just corruption generally in the nation.
That the government caused.
So that is what the Bayo Onanuga is saying. So this is the statement we're hearing from Bayo Onanuga. But what I'm saying is the statements from the likes of the United States President Donald Trump saying that he is angry with what is going on in this disgraced nation, referring to the key.
I wanted to say that.
And now also to what we're hearing from the U.S. Congress debate, what we saw during the U.S. Congress debate, and them standing on the fact that it's still a Christian genocide. This picture that the Nigerian presidency is painted, saying that from what they've come out to say, do you think it represents the true nature of things?
It does not in any way represent that. I could clearly see the lies right now, because over the weekend, the president of the United States called Nigeria a disgraced nation. So somebody with that tone of voice and with a statement, you could see that he's still standing on what he said earlier about Nigeria being a country of particular concern, and the fact that there are a lot of Christian genocide going on in Nigeria, attacks on the Christian going on in Nigeria. So he's still his head bent on what he said. You understand? But I don't really understand why our country and why our representatives are always quick to lie, because you could see clearly that they are lying. The US is standing on their word that there is attack on Christians in Nigeria. Why are you still defending it? Maybe if he had said that, okay, that they are working on strengthening security in Nigeria, collaborating with US to strengthen security in Nigeria or fight insecurity in Nigeria, it would have been better. But in that part of the news, I really do not understand why they are still insisting that there is no Christian genocide in Nigeria. There is only terrorism. There is nothing like that. There is Christian genocide. You have the data. If you don't have the data, the international body, the US have the data. Imagine the recent attack that we had, the KEBBI state, the Niger attack. They are aware of it. They've already made comments on that. And they called Nigeria out and they asked Nigeria to stop. They condemned it. You understand? These are people that have first-hand information about what is going on. I think Bayo and Onaga do not actually know what's going on in Nigeria. We'll just leave it at that.
There's something important that we are seeing from the United States when they made comments about the KEBBI attack and also the Niger attack. They said that they're looking forward to these perpetrators being punished for their crimes now, and saying that nobody deserves to go through what these people abducted have gone through, and urging the Nigerian government to ensure the punishment of these criminals. We had a discussion earlier this morning, Mr. Ogo, but you were not here, and it was about the reason why, when the Nigerian government came out to announce the release of the KEBBI or the Kwara 38 church members of the CAC church, we didn't hear further news or updates as regarding the possible prosecution or arrest of those bandits that were responsible for this particular crime. Now, with the United States hammering on the fact that there needs to be justice, with the type of report that we have now, do you think that Nigeria is on its way to actually delivering justice?
Obviously not, because that's the morning pulse. I listened to it, I followed it online, and I think it was Ifoma who was saying something. Now this, and I agree with what he's saying. This is what I think about it. When you see in a country like Nigeria, where we already have serious security issues that is strengthening our stability, and we had issues of kidnapping by these bandits that have been terrorizing the Nigerian people over time, and we saw how everyone was worried. Even the opposition and the people in government, they were all urging the government to do well, and all of a sudden, I think the one from, I can't remember exactly, either Kwara, it was a round number, 50 persons escaped.
Okay, Niger.
It was Niger.
It was, I think they say over 300 of them.
Yes, over 300.
And out of 300, 50, a round number, just like that. Now,
from the report, that we heard from the KEBBI, the video, we saw the video in the morning from one of the abducted worshippers in the CAC church. When he was giving his report, he said that the bushes there are so heavily dominated by these bandits that it was impossible for anybody to escape. You understand? So just to give that as a backstory to what you were saying about the Niger attack, we may continue.
Now, with this information you are giving me just now, it's now even looking. I mean, it's not comprehensible. It's not
exactly.
It's looking like a script, honestly.
To be honest, it is. It is.
Blame Nigerians who insinuate things like this, because just a round number, and you are not able to capture these people, or you are quick to prosecute Nnamdi Kanu and sentence him for life. I mean, it does not make sense. I need them to, and I also heard Mr. Sacramento saying that things like this are confidential, and I agree with him. They are classified matters, but we need to know. Okay,
it's now that they know that it's a classified matter. No.
No. What I'm trying to say is that, in as much as you might not want to release the name, tell us that you have these people, that you have these bandits who, and if these are bandits. It's not one person. If you get one person, it will help you to get the others. It's not like a sole.
Hold on. I remember there was this American that was shot dead. Is it Charlie Clerk or what? Something like that. He was shot dead, and within 24 hours, they apprehended and arrested the guy that killed him. No, calm down. I want to. No. There's something I want. Calm down. I want to say something. Now, his picture was literally all over the internet. So why are you telling me about confidential what is it called, crimes or whatever they call it? Was all over the internet. So why are you keeping them a secret, like they are one gold mine or gold silver or what? It's not needed. It's not needed. We need to see, we need accountability. We need to see pictures of all those people, release their names.
We even need to hear from those that escaped. How did everything transpire? Because this is honestly, it's looking like a script. It's looking like just, honestly, I'm saying it from, we are Nigerians, we are not dumb. We go to school, we are intelligent. It's looking like the APC they just wanted to push a narrative that, okay,
the president is working.
Exactly, that is it. Let's cause this trouble and then we'll fix it to show people.
To show you that everything is still blurry and vague. What about the KEBBI state abduction? We haven't heard anything. The school, we've not heard anything. Now, this happened after this second abduction in Kwara State happened after the KEBBI State. So it's possible that this was orchestrated by the government and then they released these people, because tell me why they haven't provided the reason or intelligence on how these people were able, the people that escaped, not just the people that escaped, how these people were released.
That is an interesting theory, which I agree is on the lips of many Nigerians. But also in the midst of all of these kidnappings, people were killed. We remember in the Kwara State attack, we recorded, I think, 3 people that were killed during the attack. The KEBBI attack as well, the vice principal as well was shot dead during that particular attack. Now, if it is indeed the Nigerian government that is behind these kidnappings and abductions, then it just says the whole lot, because now you are now toying with people's lives.
If this theory is correct, why would you, to prove a point that you are doing well, why would it cost lives? These are human beings, they are Nigerians. Lives. Well, I'm saying if
What you're saying here is just a theory because of how I think how organized the series of attacks have been, and also, like I mentioned earlier in the morning, it is the first time in a long while we hear abductions, and after abductions we're hearing rescuing. It's as though the Nigerian military has forgotten how to go about all of this rescue, and that is why a lot of attention is on the Kwara State abducted members that are being rescued. And I do agree with Mr. Agochukwu, there should be more questioning for those that were rescued, right? Although I understand that this is a trying period for them, it is really traumatic, and they might not be really ready to face the press, but there are questions that they should ask, because I like the fact that from what we heard from one of the abducted church members in Kwara State, he came out to give a little detail as to what they faced within those days, saying that they were in a bush and it was a dominated area, and it was not even possible for anyone to escape because all of those bandits there know exactly the terrains of those areas. They know those places, and it was difficult for them to. And when you watch the video, you can see a lot of them limping, meaning that, you know, they entered thick forest and they had to trek there or something, and it just paints a different picture, which I think not just the Nigerian government but also the press should pay attention to. Also brings me to the fact that the KEBBI State, the question from the KEBBI State governor has not yet been answered. The KEBBI State governor came out to ask that why was it that just 45 minutes before that particular abduction, the Nigerian military were ordered to withdraw. And I think that is an interesting place to start from, Informa.
Exactly. That's the same thing that we are talking about. How is it? Who gave them the intelligence? Because I believe there should be security. I think the Senate one time, was it last week, was probing into the safety school program, something like that. Initiative. Yes, I think that it is actually right to probe into that, to ask questions, what exactly happened, because I believe that there should be security in all the schools. It's not just these VIPs that need security. These children need security. So how is it that these people were able to vacate the premises 45 minutes, 35 minutes before these people attacked? It means that, I mentioned when we discussed this, number one, there's possibility that somebody gave them the intelligence. That's number one. Then number two, there's possibility that they didn't have, they weren't properly armed, you understand, to fight these people. Number three, there's possibility that they didn't have enough men to fight these people. So maybe they got the intelligence, but they couldn't act on the intelligence because they weren't fully armed, or they were not enough to outnumber the security. But that still boils down to the same thing that we are talking about. The security apparatus need to be strengthened. We need more men in the security. We already have more men. The only thing is that they are still acting as handbags to politicians. They shouldn't be handbags to politicians. If you're doing the right thing, I don't think anybody should be coming for you. The people that are supposed to be protected are people in all these communities, people, farmers. These are people that need to be protected. The people that go to school, healthcare professionals, these are the people that need to be protected, and not all these VIPs.
You know, the Nigerian president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, came out to announce that he has ordered 100,000 policemen to be withdrawn from VIPs in Nigeria and to be relocated to these rural areas and to be put at their stations now in order to safeguard the lives of Nigerians. Let's talk about deployment now, Mr. Ugochukwu. Ever since we've been hearing of banditry and bandit attack, kidnapping and abductions, would you say that you have seen a heavy presence of our security being deployed to these fragile areas?
Well, I've not observed that yet, but on the withdrawal of the police from the VIPs, here is what I think about it. Well, this is not the first time we are hearing such things. I think even closely to us was the last Anambra election. We saw the IBTC police come out and say that they are going to withdraw the police from all VIPs. I think that same night I saw VIPs around the security escort. You see, so we all know how it's going to turn out. This news, it belongs in the media and it will die in the media.
Exactly.
That is what
it belongs
the headlines, yes.
In the media.
Yeah. So now about them sending our security personnel to fight these bandits in the forest where they are. You know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I do not believe that the Nigerian government or even the Nigerian security force does not have the capability and the resource to eliminate these people. They can do it, but I don't know why they are not doing it. That's why the other time we are talking about the US intervention. I mean, it's something very good. It is welcoming, although it should be more of a cooperation rather than
like unilateral intervention.
Yes. But I still don't believe that Nigeria, that they cannot solve this issue. So that's why I'm feeling all this.
Add to that, right? You said something that you don't believe the Nigerian military can't fight. The other day we saw the presidency coming out to announce that the Nigerian military can fight any war, right? Just months ago, that the Nigerian military can fight any war, can win any war. But now, with what we're saying now, and with the situation happening, especially security-wise, that we're unable to combat, even after so many years, how true, how valid is that statement?
It's clear that it's not valid. You understand? Because if they are able, I believe, to be honest, I believe that the Nigerian military can fight this, because I've seen most of them come out to talk about combating or revolting against this terrorism. A lot of them have come out to say that, but some of them have equally come out to say that they don't have the authority. They are not being given the authority to act. You understand? And they act on orders. You understand? That's number one. And then number two, we equally saw videos of some of them calling out to what is it called? All these I'm sorry that I'm digressing a bit, but some of them came out to call out all these cultists, that it is time for people to know that, oh, you belong to a certain group of people to protect yourself or protect your family. It is time for you to come and assist and fight terrorism in Nigeria. Yes, exactly. It's not about it's time to actually put all those things into action. I'm sorry that I digressed a bit, but coming back to this security, I think that they have the capacity. The only thing is that they don't have the order. They have enough men. We equally saw in the news one time, was it last week, the military were urging people to join the military, that if they don't join the military, that they will forcefully recruit people into the military, which for me, I was like, jokes on them. That was what I mentioned, because you cannot tell people to join military when their lives and their properties or the lives of their family is not guaranteed or is not secure. That's aside, but I believe that we have enough men to fight these people. The only thing is, do the president or will the president give them the order to do so?
So I think it's the same thing that we've heard from U.S. congressmen coming out to say that Nigeria lacks the political will to rescue their people and to do something, especially about the Christian genocide that they are seeing. You know, finally, on this particular matter, Mr. Ugochukwu, moving forward, we have heard from the United States, we've also heard from the Nigerian presidency. Do you think that still, with the Nigerian government denying a Christian genocide, because you made mention of them fostering a democratic relationship or a collaboration to assist in combating the issues we're facing in Nigeria, with the Nigeria stance now, the Nigeria's government stance now, do you think that there is a possibility of that collaboration happening?
Well, I think that they're trying to be a sovereign nation, because that's the only reason why you would be in such disarray and you are still playing the denial game. You know, however, I believe that Tinubu, he can't risk 2027. By all means, he cannot risk it, and that's why I believe that he will try as much as he can to solve this security issue we are having in Nigeria, even if it means
even make up one.
Make up one and solve it, exactly. You know, because all road leads to 2027. However, we want to look at it, because some of these insecurity we are having, it has a political undertone to it. Like you rightfully said, you know, I don't think Nigeria has I think there are some people, some architects of behind this political tension we have in Nigeria, insecurity, especially in the north. You know, I think there are people behind all these things, and it's looking like our country does not have the political will, like you said, to solve it. But then we need to know that everything is not politics. There are people who are not so much interested in your political games and all. There are people who just live a life and they want to continue living their lives. And you know, life is precious. You must preserve people's life, and as a government, your primary duty is the protection of lives and property. So every Nigerian out there, we urge the Nigerian government to find a lasting solution to these security issues we have. And at this stage, it's not just the president. We all as Nigerians, we have a role to play. We have lawmakers, we have the senators, we have our honorable members at the House of Representatives, even at the House of Assembly. We have you know, honorables representing each of our constituencies. And I believe that we have websites where you can reach all these people, text them. This is now a national issue. It is a matter of national security. So we need, all hands needs to be on deck, starting from the councillors at the local level to the commander, that is the president.
All right, thank you very much for that grand recommendation. Finally, you said something which I'm just going to ask you to answer if in a minute. You mentioned the fact that all road leads to 2027, and the Tinubu-led administration will do all it can to ensure that it fixes the security issue in Nigeria. But let's take a look at the Jonathan administration. We know that insecurity was the major reason Goodluck Jonathan became disinterested in running or rerunning, saying that his re-election is not worth the blood of any Nigerian. And we saw that happen. If come 2027, the Tinubu-led administration is not able to restore order and peace, do you think that there is a possibility of a resignation?
Well, I'm not seeing any resignation now. We're already seeing it he's already campaigning. He started campaigning since 2023 that he won the election. So we're not seeing any resignation at all. A country that cannot even see that its citizens is dying day by day, and you're telling me that they are going to see resignation. They are not seeing anything. The only thing that we are going to see in 2027 is band A treatments, like I always say. Like this security, this swift response by the presidency. I'm seeing that there's possibility of them cooking up this story and cooking up more stories, because I'm yet to still understand how about 300 students were kidnapped in Niger State. Is yet to make sense to me. How did they carry out that operation? How was it carried? Were they walking on foot? Were they in a vehicle? I'm need to understand this thing. It does not make sense, to be honest. 12 teachers, 300 students. It's not yet making sense. Now, 50. How did 50 escape? How did that round number? Were they able to escape? So asking this question, Sharon, to be honest, I'm not seeing any resignation. If there's possibility of the president running for 2031, he will run, so long as he's still alive.
A possible
people should be aware that it's KEBBI of Nigeria.
For the first time, that would be catastrophic. That would be catastrophic to witness. Anyways, this is where we have to call it a wrap on the show today. Thank you very much, Mr. Wuchuku Afuba and Ifoma Oji, for joining me as always on the conversation. To our viewers, if you're watching for the first time, this is Active Citizens Parliament, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're yet to do that, and follow us across all socials at Active Citizens. You can find me across all social media as well at Sharon Eniochukwu. And you
can find me on Facebook at Oji Sophia and on Instagram at Misolex.
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and X at Ugochukwu Afuba.
All right, till we'll come your way tomorrow. Do have a good evening.